Oh my God, Ryan.
Oh.
Your hair. You got nothing to add to that?
I didn't know what to say.
So, finally, at long last, we're going to bottle the strawberry wine that we made. Let me briefly review with you what we put into it.
Back in October, we put 7 pounds of organic strawberries, 1 cup of black tea, 3 ounces of raisins, half a teaspoon of pectic enzyme, juice from 1 lemon, 2 3/4 pound of white sugar, and bread yeast.
So that is the recipe we followed in crafting this fermentation. And what we want to do today is taste it, maybe add a little bit of sugar to back sweeten, balance it all out, and then bottle it because it's crystal clear. But the very first thing we want to do is rack this into a pitcher because then we're going to add some sugar and stir it up, and it's just easier to back sweeten and add things into your fermentation if it's in a pitcher, because if we just stirred it up in here, all of that compact dead yeast and fruit material would get re-immersed into the liquid. It wouldn't be crystal clear anymore.
And that wouldn't be good.
No, because this is actually like crystal clear. It's the first fermentation.
Very nice.
Yeah, because you remember when we racked it last time, it was like a smoothie.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
No, I did that last time.
You did, and you were like, what are we doing? Pull out the tube so that one end is always in the bucket and then the water drains out, you know? So this is siphoning. You're gonna start the siphoning action by pumping it, and then gravity is, because there's a difference in the elevation, gravity's gonna pull all the liquid out without you having to continually pump it.
It's like you sucking from a straw.
No.
Yeah. Gravity's pulling it this way.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
So
okay,
gravity's
yes.
sucking the straw.
Yes. It was like, please.
I am correct.
The only thing you want to make sure to get right in this situation is not to disturb the lees, which is dead yeast, plant proteins at the bottom here. All right, that's it. That's all we're gonna get.
It is very dry.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of thin.
It's a little. It's just really dry.
Yeah.
And so I kind of associate like a full mouthfeel with some sweetness. I taste strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
I think the overall like profile is pretty pleasing because it's not strawberry lemonade anymore.
Yeah, I don't really taste the lemon as much now.
Yeah, but I know that this is strawberry wine.
Yeah.
It's just not strawberry juice, which is not what you want anyway.
You don't really, yeah.
It's at 0.990 right now. Let's bring it to 1.00 even. So we want 10 points of gravity. We want roughly 1/4 of 1 pound of sugar. That's roughly 2 ounces. Let's do 2 ounces of sugar.
Okay.
Yeah, I had someone on an episode before. I won't name names. And they were like, why are you even doing all this stuff? I was like, it's a privilege for you to be on here. Exactly.
We'll do it live.
I became washed over with this profound sense of importance.
You became like a Hollywood elite.
Oh,
Like 2 seconds.
2 seconds. I was like, I have 320 subscribers. How many do you have?
You are nothing compared to me.
All right, we got 2 ounces of sugar. Put it in here. Excellent. All right, go ahead and stir it up.
Is this going to diminish the, like, clearness?
Clarity?
Clarity? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the word.
No, because if you've ever made simple syrup, it's equal parts sugar and water, white sugar and water. And though initially when you start stirring it, it's like this slurry, by the time it's all dissolved, it's crystal clear.
Yeah,
Sugar
that
does
makes sense. That makes
So,
sense.
okay, brief explanation of the tools here. This is a hydrometer. It allows you, in this case, in winemaking context, to measure the amount of sugar in your wine, or in the amount of sugar in your must before it's fermented. This is a cylinder to contain the liquid, so you can plop this in there. And I use this to maneuver from here to here. Okay, so we just took a reading. It came out to 0.994, which is still too low for only 2 ounce edition. So we're going to add 3 more ounces, which is how much total?
5.
Good.
I can add.
Yes. Okay, we grab the spoon.
It's not a spoon. It's a spatula.
This is not a
Well,
spatula.
then what would you call that?
A spoon.
That's not a spoon. That's not a spoon.
No.
Look how flat that is.
Okay, but it's definitely not a spatula.
But it's not a spoon.
The base isn't thin enough to get under the patties in SpongeBob's kitchen.
Well, then let's call it a flat spoon.
Okay.
And we'll meet in the middle.
Okay.
This is a flat spoon that we are stirring with.
Yes, it is. And as a brief aside, you want to kind of do this step quickly because all of the wine that you've worked so hard to make is exposed to a wide amount of surface area right now, is exposed to the air. And you don't want to oxidize your wine. Flavors will disappear, it thins out, it just doesn't taste good. And you worked really hard to create it. So do this step quickly and get it into bottles as quick as you can for optics. Mm-hmm. I can't be domineering, you know.
Can't be the Hollywood elite that you want to be.
One day, Ryan.
One day.
And then I'll erase you from the channel. Once I've made it, they'll never know. They won't be talking about Ryan.
No.
They'll be talking about Miles.
They'll be like, who was that little homeless Mexican child that was on your show? And I'll be sitting on the Hollywood Boulevard with a little can asking for money. I'll be saying, I was on the wine show.
I'll go with 1.002. Okay? That's right where we want it to be. Let's taste it. It tastes mellower to me. Like calmer, a little subdued.
Yeah, it's not
I don't know.
sharp.
Yeah.
It does taste sweeter. I feel like I can taste the strawberry a lot more.
If I move the wine to the back of my tongue, like when I'm swallowing, I really taste strawberry. Mm-hmm. Like that kind of maybe aftertaste, but
it also doesn't feel as thin.
Yeah, that because sweetness is going to do that. Sugar is one of the body building agents of wine. Now, what do you want to do? I mean, is this sweet enough for you, or do you want it sweeter?
I think it tastes good like this. It's not too sweet and it's not too dry. I'm afraid that if we add more sugar, that it's going to be way too sweet.
All things considered, like every factor, I think the more sugar you add, typically, the sweetness then tends to become the dominant feature, and you don't taste those other subtleties. Mm-hmm. I say we leave it. Yep. Final gravity, 1.002, 5 ounces of sugar added. All right, Ryan. These are some chemicals here in these little baggies, okay? Capital C. What do they do? Don't read the label. Don't read it. Why are we adding them? Because I explained them so clearly on a previous episode. Why are we doing it? Don't read it. The potassium sorbate, what it's going to do is it's going to prevent re-fermentation because we did add some sugar in there. So if there's any yeast cells still circulating, they'll eat up that sugar. They'll produce CO2 in the bottles themselves, carbonating it, but eventually making the bottle explode. Second one, potassium metabisulfite. What that is going to do is release free sulfites into your wine, which bind to the products of oxidation, prolonging the shelf life of your wine. You don't add it, your wine's going to have 2 to 5 years. You add sulfites, it can survive and age well for 10 years or more. Ryan, you're going to add the sorbate because it's not super critical that you get the exact measurement. I want you to add half a teaspoon.
Any dummy could do this. Oh, they're like little pellets.
Yeah, everybody always comments on it. They look like sprinkles.
Yeah.
Okay, plop it in. All right, so it's half a teaspoon of the sorbate. It is a 1/16 of a teaspoon of the potassium metabisulfite.
Flat spoon, otherwise known as a spatula.
Dude, I dare you to try and make a burger with that flat spoon.
I could.
I don't think you could.
I think it'd be better than any other spatula there is.
Uh-huh.
Because it's the soul of the cook that matters, not the utensils.
Last and final step is to bottle it. Make sure when you're bottling, sanitize your bottles, okay? Star Sin sanitizer, gallon of water. Just put, like with a turkey baster, get that sanitized water in here, shake it up, pour it out, let it sit for a minute, then they're sanitized and good to go. Don't skip that step. Just like when we racked into the pitcher, you have a difference in elevation, that's how you bottle. And we also have this bottle filler on here. Now, what does this do, Ryan?
That when you push it down, then it dispenses the liquid. When you lift it up, it stops.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Good work.
I'm a man of science.
Okay, so when you're bottling, you can take this little cap on the siphon off, so that way it pulls liquid from the very base. If you have the cap on, it pulls liquid up from like an inch above. answer a random question, why aren't we just pouring it into the bottles from the pitcher through a funnel or whatever? Because that would oxidize the wine. It would expose it to too much oxygen. We're siphoning to minimize oxygen exposure.
The more you know.
Reading Rainbow. Okay, Ryan, say hi.
Hello, everyone. Today,
Go ahead.
now we're going to be corking the wine bottles.
Yes, we are. So this is our wine ground corker, pretty expensive piece of equipment. Okay, it kind of pops into place. You'll see Ryan is positioning things. He already put the cork up in top here, and then he's going to compress it and push it in. He's going to do it,
I'm going to
folks.
I'm just afraid it's going to...
No, it won't. Boom. Good work. Now we're going to do that 3 other times. We got 4 normal 750 milliliter bottles and 1, I think it's like 500 milliliters. I'll have to check that. But, you know, basically 4.5 standard bottles. So the last thing we want to just cover is what would I do differently next time? Well, number 1, don't use bread yeast, okay? Because for one thing, bread yeast doesn't compact well. It doesn't flocculate well at the bottom of the carboy. And so it makes it more difficult for the wine to clarify. And it doesn't produce a flavor profile as tasty as a tailored wine yeast. So for all those reasons, don't use bread yeast. And the second thing here is add your tannin and acid adjustments after primary fermentation. There really is no reason to add in the lemon juice for that acidity or the black tea for the tannins at the beginning. You can make the wine and then decide if it needs adjustments after the fact. But if you put it in at the beginning, you can't undo it. Thirdly, when it comes to strawberry wine, use as much fruit as you possibly can. The more fruit you use to start the wine, the more fruit flavor you're going to get in the end. So if I were to do this again, I'd use 10 pounds. I'd use 12 pounds. Invest in your craft to get the best possible product, okay? But other than that, it's pretty decent wine.
Yeah, I think it tastes very good. Like you said, next time probably we won't put as much lemon at the beginning.
Yeah. I really appreciate you coming on the show, Ryan.
I had fun. It was a good time.
Yep, it's always a pleasure. It's always fun. And I want to bring you back for more things.
I would love to be back to make another wine.
Absolutely. So take care. Watch my videos. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. But in the meantime, have a good day. Bye.